High-rise city buildings in Australia have been protected by inbuilt sprinkler systems for the past century. But residential buildings under 25 metres have been exempt. Now AFAC, Fire Protection Association Australia and the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition are working to overcome that safety issue. In the past, many apartment blocks up to 6 or 7 stories high may not have had inbuilt residential sprinklers, putting residents and firefighters at greater risk in the event of a fire. But that will no longer be the case in new developments, with a major change to the National Construction Code.
So for all Class 2 and Class 3 buildings, that's shared residential accommodation, apartment blocks, boarding houses, lodging houses, they are now mandatory requirement to have sprinklers below 25 metres and above 3 levels. So the first 3 levels, if you've got a 3-level building, don't have to be sprinklered. But if your building is 4 levels and above, up to 25 metres, you must now have sprinklers.
We know around 65 people die each year from a preventable residential house fire. Sprinklers, as a life-saving fire safety intervention, would prevent these deaths.
The changes to the construction code followed a coronial recommendation after several fatal fires in multi-storey accommodation. Research involving real-time tests with reconstructed buildings and using real fire showed conclusively that sprinkler systems could save lives.
Unlike a smoke alarm, which is an early warning of a fire for residents to evacuate their properties, a sprinkler will actually hold the fire such that people can get out of their home safely.
The Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition is promoting the value of sprinkler systems to builders and developers, as well as offering guidance and support around the new building code requirements. In another significant development, new technical specifications now allow for the use of the domestic drinking water supply in residential buildings to run the sprinkler system, significantly reducing the cost of installation.
The drinking water is already there in the building, and it's been a source that we need to drive the sprinkler heads. Why wouldn't we be using that more efficiently and more effectively to not only help health and safety in buildings, but also life safety, which is obviously critical.
Shay Mette from the Fire Protection Association of Australia says significant R&D in the sprinkler industry and new regulations allowing the use of copper and hard plastic PEX pipe means installation is now much faster and cheaper than ever before.
Well, that was quick.
It's very quick. Traditionally, using steel pipe, it would take about 2 minutes per thread, and this only takes about 10 seconds. So if you're doing a whole apartment building, you'd save days, possibly weeks.
Thousands of joints.
Thousands and thousands of joints, yep.
Patrick Conway from Viking Sprinkler Corporation says with modern furnishings, house fires now spread much faster.
Decades ago, it used to take about 17 minutes for a fire generally to get into flashover. That's where it's all fire. Okay, currently now the data that the fire brigades have collected, it takes 3 to 4 minutes to flash over. And flash over, that's at a point where no one can survive.
Mark Wybrow says while sprinklers are not designed to completely extinguish a fire, they do make it safer for firefighters when they enter the building.
Sprinkler systems control the fires, extend the period for safe egress of the occupants, and certainly improve safety for firefighters at the time of their intervention.
The Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition hopes that homeowners may now choose to retrofit their own houses with affordable sprinkler systems, with new flat surfaced sprinkler head designs making them more unobtrusive on the ceiling. According to AFAC, the Fire Protection Association of Australia and the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition, these latest changes to the National Construction Code will be one of the most significant changes to the protection of people and property in the event of a residential fire.
We have worked over a 3-year period with the Australian Building Codes Board and our partners Fire Rescue New South Wales and FPA Australia to bring in this new change into the construction code that mandates residential fire sprinklers. We see this as a game changer in terms of fire safety in Australia.
From my point of view, I consider that this to be the most significant change in the building code and life safety in probably 20 or 30 years. It's certainly the most significant since we introduced a requirement for smoke alarms that give people that early warning from smoke. This is the other part of the equation that we hadn't solved about getting early suppression in there as well.
This is possibly the largest improvement in public safety from a firefighter's perspective since mandatory smoke alarms in the mid-2000s.